And welcome to Standard Voice Television Global News today, 12th May 2026, equivalent to Islamic calendar, 25th day of Zulqa'dah, 1447 after Hijrah. I am Hamida Muhammad Idris in the headlines. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu appoint Adeyinka Fadiwa advisor on Homeland Security. INEC to engage 1.4 million co-members for 2027 general elections. Senate says Nigeria records 1,326 attacks and 28 journalists dead in 9 years. On the international scene, President Donald Trump says U.S.-Iran ceasefire on live support after failed attacks. And on sports update, Nigeria's Falcons set to discover under 20 Women World Cup opponents. These are more news to be coming to you in the bulletin. Thank you for joining us now the news in details. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has approved the appointment of Adeyinka Fadiwa as Special Advisor on Homeland Security. The Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, announced the appointment in circular and issued by the Permanent Secretary, General Services Office, Ibrahim Abubakar Kana. The statement added that the appointment reflected the administration's commitment to strengthening internal security, improving inter-agency collaboration in tackling emerging security threats across Nigeria. Akume also described Fadiwa as a highly decorated retired military officer with over 3 decades of experience in military and intelligence operations, national security strategy and counter-terrorism, and international security diplomacy. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's economic reforms have restored fiscal stability, improved investor confidence on Nigeria. The chairman of the Progressive Governors Forum and Governor of Imo State, Hope Uzodimma, made this assertion in Abuja at an engagement with members of the diplomatic corps under the platform of the renewed Hope Ambassadors. He also noted that the removal of petrol subsidy and the liberalization of the Naira exchange rate marked a decisive turning point in Nigeria's economic direction. Uzodimma also argued that the policies had blocked entrenched corruption systems and threatened both federal and state finances, insisting that the administration had taken decisions previous governments avoided due to political causes. The governor further explained that the 2 key reforms announced at the beginning of the administration in May 2023 remain the foundation of current economic changes. In another development, federal government has engaged with the World Bank for a fresh $1.25 billion debt to support economic reforms, job creation, and competitiveness. These show that the facility has reached a critical stage in the lender's approval process. The proposed loan is expected to be presented for approval on 2026, about 6 months and 21 days before the January 16, 2027 presidential election, according to the revised timetable of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. It was gathered that it approved the loan, which ranked as the second largest single World Bank's facility secured under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, behind only the $1.5 billion reforms for economic stabilization to enable transformation development policy financing approved in June 2024. Nigeria's total public debt will also rise from 159.28 trillion naira to at least 160.98 trillion naira. Independent National Electoral Commission INEC plans to deploy over 1.4 million ad hoc staff for the 2027 general elections. INEC Chairman George Amupitan disclosed this during a courtesy visit to the Director General of the NYSC, Brigadier General Olakunle Nafiu, at the headquarters of the scheme in Abuja. Chief Press Secretary and Media Advisor to the INEC Chairman Adedayo Ketola, in a statement, said Amupitan described the meeting with the NYSC senior management team as more than a formal courtesy visit, saying it's also a mission of gratitude. He also noted that co-members have continued to play a central role in Nigeria electoral processes since the return to democratic rule in 1999. The NYSC Director General, while responding, appreciated INEC for its continued collaboration with the scheme while describing co-members as credible, reliable, and easily trainable manpower. He also noted that the scheme remains a critical pillar in Nigeria's democratic process. In 2027 general elections, All Progressives Congress APC has cautioned aspirants seeking elected positions on the party's platform ahead of the 2027 general elections against acts capable of undermining the integrity of the primary elections, stressing that offenders risk immediate suspension from the party. The APC National Chairman Netanyahu Wadda gave the warning in a statement by his special advisor on media and information strategy, Abimbola Toki, while addressing aspirants who recently participated in screening exercises conducted by various party committees. Ahead of the APC primary elections for various elected positions scheduled to begin with the House of Representatives on May 15, followed by the Senate on May 18th, State Houses of Assembly on May 20th, governorship elections on May 21st, and the presidential primary on May 23. Wadda, however, emphasized that the party remains committed to transparent, peaceful, credible, and democratic primaries that will further strengthen internal democracy and reinforce the confidence Nigerians continue to place in the ruling party. The news is coming to you on Standard Voice Television, still to come in the news. Senate says Nigeria records 1,326 attacks and 28 journalists dead in 9 years. On the international scene, President Donald Trump says U.S.-Iran ceasefire on live support after failed talks. And on sports update, Nigeria's Falcon is set to discover under 20 Women World Cup opponents. These are more news will be coming to you after this short break. To stay tuned. From that short break, and now the news continues. An Abuja High Court on Monday watched a video recording in which a Zaire-based Islamic cleric Sheikh Abdul Qadir Sani standard trial over the coup plot told investigators that they cautioned the conspirators that their plan will fail and that they will eventually be betrayed. The presiding judge, Justice Abdul Malik, also ordered a joint trial within trial to determine the voluntariness of statements and video recordings that prosecution sought to tender against the 6 defendants. The verdict followed objections by defense lawyers who argued that the statements were obtained in violation of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act and the Anti-Torture Act. The federal government had on April 2022 arraigned 6 defendants, including a retired Major General, over allegations of treason, terrorism, money laundering, and a conspiracy to withdraw President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's government. The defendants are Muhammad Ibrahim Gana, Esmos Ochegbobia, Victor Ahmed Ibrahim, Zakaru Umaru, Bukar Kashim Gani, and Sheikh Abdul Qadir Sani. They all pleaded not guilty to the 13 charges. Center for Journalism, Innovation and Development CJID says Nigeria has recorded 1,326 press freedom violations on 28 days of journalists over a 9-year period. Executive Director of the Center, Akintunde Babatunde, who disclosed this in a report, underscored ongoing concerns over the safety of media practitioners in Nigeria. Babatunde also explained that the data was drawn from the organization's Press Attack Tracker PET, a civic technology platform developed by CJID in 2017 to monitor, track, and document attacks against journalists and independent media. The center added that the data was compiled from verified reports submitted through newsroom networks, journalists, and direct submissions, and it is used to support advocacy, policy engagement, and broader monitoring of press freedom trends. Babatunde, however, noted that the scale and consistency of violations over 9 years point to deep-rooted challenges to press freedom in Nigeria, calling for stronger protections and greater accountability for perpetrators. Joint Action Committee (JAC) of Non-Teaching Staff Union of Nigerian Universities has resumed discussions with the federal government following the suspension of its indefinite strike. The committee comprises the Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities (SANU) and the Non-Academic Staff Union of Education (NASU) and associated institutions. The unions had commenced an indefinite strike on April 30 over the lease in the renegotiations of agreement with the federal government. The strike was suspended on May 11, 2026 after assurances from the federal government expanded tertiary institutions negotiation committee. The unions are demanding the conclusion of the renegotiation of the 2009 agreements, improved welfare packages, payment of allowances, and rejection of what they describe as unilateral salary offers. The national president of SANU and chairman of JAC, Mohammed Ibrahim, confirmed that the negotiation had resumed at the headquarters of the National Universities Commission, NUC, in Abuja. In another development, Governor Obasani has disclosed that his administration paid the sum of 90 billion naira debt inherited from his predecessor, Nasir El-Rufai. He made this known during an interview on Channels Television's Politics Today, noting that his government has also attracted $2.5 billion in investment to Kaduna State. The governor said his administration met with the World Bank, while the current Minister of Health party, who worked with the World Bank, came in to work with the state on how to restructure the loan. Oba noted that, unfortunately, the World Bank rejected the restructuring of the loan because they believe all the money had been completely drawn before he came in office, and in the first week after he assumed office in June 2023, started repaying the loan. Moving to the foreign scene, President Donald Trump says the U.S.-Iran ceasefire is on massive life support as the two sides failed to agree terms to start talks on ending the war. He told journalists that the ceasefire is on massive life support where the doctor works in. In another development, the U.S. has identified Nigeria and the Lake Chad Basin as critical fronts in its 2026 counterterrorism strategy, warning that extremist groups operating across Africa remain a growing threat to global security. The U.S. government in the strategy document said parts of Africa, including West Africa, the Sahel region, the Lake Chad Basin, Mozambique, Sudan, and Somalia have witnessed a resurgence of terrorist activities following the collapse of ISIS strongholds in Iraq and Syria. The document also noted that the remnants of ISIS and affiliate jihadist group had relocated to Africa and Central Asia, exploiting undergoverned spaces and weak security structures. Finally, to sport on scene, Nigeria's Falconets are expected to know their group stage opponents for the 2026 Under-20 Women's World Cup on May 15 when FIFA conducts the official tournament drawn in Poland. The draw ceremony will take place in one of the competition's host cities and will be streamed live on FIFA, YouTube, and ahead of the tournament planned to run from September 5th to 27th. The Falconets qualified for the championship after another campaign and will head into the competition hoping to make a strong impact once again on the global stage. Nigeria remains one of the most successful countries in the history of the FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup, having reached the final twice while consistently establishing themselves as one of Africa's strongest representatives in the tournament. A total of 24 countries will participate in this year's edition, with matches set to be played across Bisleko, Biala, Kotowis, Lodz, and Sunwetted in Poland. Finally, on the news, the top stories again. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu appoints Adeyinka Fadiwa advisor on Homeland Security. INEC to engage 1.4 million co-members for 2027 general elections. Senate says Nigeria records 1,326 attacks and 28 journalists dead in Nangis. On the international scene, President Donald Trump says U.S.-Iran ceasefire on live support after failed talks. And on sports update, Nigeria's Falcons set to discover Under-20 Women World Cup opponents. That's Standard Voice Global News for today. On behalf of the production crew led by Ilya Adamu Auta, I am Hamida Muhammad Idris. Thank you for investing your time and staying with the news.